Unlocking our unique superpowers through gaming. I'd like to start with a personal story. I'm 12 years old, and I'm in the regional Taekwondo championship. Now, for those of you who don't know what Taekwondo is a Korean martial arts. And I'm a yellow belt. I'm a beginner. And this is my first championship. And I've been doing pretty good for the first championship. Now, a regional championship is a small championship. It's like a city championship. So there aren't many people. So I managed to win 2 fights, also against 2 yellow belts. And I find out that I'm going to the final fight. And if I win this final fight, I will become the regional champion. I'm very pleased with my results so far, but it appears that in my final fight, I'm going to fight black belt Danny. And for those of you who do martial arts, black belts are severely more accomplished, competent, and strong than a yellow belt. It would be as if you were a 12th grader playing basketball against a 2nd grader. So when I find out black belt Danny is my opponent, and I find out that black belt Danny is not only the regional champion, he's also the state champion, my mind and body goes, I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna go against this guy. It's crazy. He's gonna eat me. So I go to my trainer and I'm saying, it was great, we enjoyed it, we had 2 fights, but that's it. I'm not continuing anymore. And he sits me down and he says, take a big breath. You are going to do it. It's a really great experience for you. And it will be what it will be. So taking a big breath and hearing those words just make me more anxious. And I can't do it. And the judge, in the meantime, shouts, next fight. And my trainer says, we're ready, and pushes me into the mat. So as I'm approaching the mat, I have an idea. I'll go talk to black belt Danny. So I approach him, and it's pretty much like this. And I'm like, listen, I'm a yellow belt. This is my first fight. Please take it easy on me. I'm not used to these situations. You're a black belt, I'm a yellow belt. And he just looks at me and goes, If he had any respect for me, he just lost it. And I see that I will be food to him. The judge shouts, places! I take my place. I'm freaking out. And bow, and we bow. And as we bow to each other, an image comes to my mind. An image from the game Karateka, which none of you would know here, because it's way past your age, but back in the day it was a very popular game, and I played it endlessly. And in Karateka, you play Karateka, and you fight all sorts of villains until you fight the final villain and you release the princess. And as I'm thinking about Karateka, I thought about one particular moment. So if you can see now, Karateka is in a fighting stance. And there's 2 stances in the game. You can either run towards an opponent or be in a fighting stance. If you run towards an opponent, the opponent kicks you, you die, and you need to start again. But if you approach in a fighting stance, nothing happens to you and you can engage combat and win. But after you finish all the opponents and you come to the princess, if you approach the princess in a fighting stance, she kicks you, you die, and you start again. And you need to understand at some point that the whole way you've been thinking and gaming needs to change in the moment when you encounter the princess. You should run and fall into her arms. So the change of attitude and way of gaming came to me. All that story came to me kind of in the split of a second as I'm bowing. And by the time the judge shouted fighting stance, I was already karateka. I ended up winning that fight. And it was a huge surprise to me. It was what we call an epic win. And it was a Profound moment in my life. It changed my life in many ways, but also not in ways that are obvious. Because I was very happy with winning, but also something started to creep into my mind. I said, wait, I didn't want to fight. Everything in my body told me, do not fight. I was afraid, my emotions, my mind, my body was all stopping me. If it hadn't been for my trainer, if it hadn't been for all sorts of things, I wouldn't have gone to fight. So I understood 3 things after this fight. 1, I cannot rely on my sensations, feelings, and thoughts in life. They are not always the best indicator on what's going on. 2, playing a computer game helped me change my mind and switch my attitude. And 3, I understood the real game we're playing is right here in this room and outside. It's the game of life. That's the real game. And there's 2 things we need to do in that game. 1 is find out our hidden talents that are blocked behind fear, anxiety, worry, thoughts. And 2, once we find the hidden talents, we take them into the world. I went on to win 4 more state championships after that. And I turned gaming into a career, which is something my parents thought I'm wasting my time on. In the course of my life, I found out there are 3 major superpowers that you can learn by playing computer games and apply them in real life. This is the princess before she kicks you. The first superpower is question. You can question and solve anything. You can question and solve anything. In life, anything is solvable. In games, anything is solvable. In games, you know that if you have a challenge, if you're a boss, whatever it is you're doing, you can solve it. Solve it. It's solvable. You can also sometimes need to question, well, I've been playing this way until now, maybe I need to change the way I'm playing. That skill can be applied also in real life. Well, maybe I'm thinking about this problem wrong. Maybe a black belt isn't really a problem, like my mind is telling me, right? So you can question and solve anything. Second superpower, let it go and try again. Let it go and try again. In games, we learn that failing is part of the problem and part of the game. We fail all the time and we get up and do it again. It's much easier in games because there's no real risk. But if we could transpose that to real life and understand that each failure or obstacle that we have is just a call to action, a call for adventure. And even if we fail, we let it go and we try again. The third power is it's all about team play. I don't know how many of you play, but many games are played with friends. Some friends you know, some friends you don't. And in games, everybody helps everybody. Somebody's on somebody's team. And it's either you're leading the team, you're supporting the team. There's a lot of team play going on. In real life, you don't get to any major achievement without having somebody support you or being part of somebody's journey and supporting them. So team play becomes a massive thing, a massive superpower you can deploy. But you can question and ask anything, let it go and try again. In team play, don't just show up by themselves in real life. They can't. They need something else. And that's something else I call game mode. You need to turn on game mode to apply these superpowers and develop them right here in this room or outside, in your next class, in your next game, in your next talk, in the next hard moment. You need to say game mode on. Now, what is game mode? Game mode is like a switch you make in the mind where you see everything as a possibility, something that changes the landscapes and allows you to connect to your hidden and inner talent or be in a state that allows you to discover it. It's a way to participate in a moment, could be this moment, could be the next moment, in a way that allows you to bring your true self and to discover your true self in it. So there's many ways to switch on game mode. I can just switch it by saying game mode. And it's something I like to do a lot. I would say, oh, adventure. If I face a serious challenge, I would say, okay, that's a great adventure. It's something you could do. And there's other ways to activate it. I'm going to try to activate some of game mode with you right now, if you will allow me, in a particular way, which allows us to summon up game mode in a more profound and deep way. So, if you can, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take a big breath through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Imagine you're standing on top of a mountain. It's a spring day. Take a big breath through your nose, exhale through your mouth. It's a beautiful day. From the mountain, you could see valleys and rivers. The sun is shining, and it's bathing you in its rays. You notice that you have a sword hanging out from your belt. And that sword is not a regular sword. It's a magical sword. And it shines with all sorts of lights, with blues and oranges, and even pinks for some of you. And the sword holds all your superpowers. I want you to draw that sword out and take a look at the sword, look at all the colors, and think about that you can question and solve anything. The sword has a unique power to help you in any situation. You can face any challenge, and you have the strength to get up again. And the sword also has a special someone it's connected to in your life. And that someone is always available to speak and to support you in whatever journey you're on. Open your eyes. Now, whether you feel it more or feel it less, and each and every one of us based on, is this an exercise that connected to more or less, you have more of the power that is you within you. You are more in game mode. So in short, game of life, the goal is to find out who you really are, what you bring, because if you look around, you all look different. We all look different, but we all also possess extremely unique capabilities that are very different from one another, and it takes us a lifetime sometimes to find out what they are. So our goal number one is to find out in the game of life what our talents are, and second is to take these talents and bring them. We do that by applying game mode and using our 3 superpowers. You can question and solve anything, let it go and try again, and team play. Adventure well in life, my friends. Adventure well. Thank you.